So these are the ICVs. We've already talked about them. They don't have a commander, they have a gunner and driver. This is when you don't have a full vehicle crew. It's infantry carrying vehicle, carries 8 passengers. This, along with the Stryker RV, are the only variants that carry 8 passengers on the MPRC. The MEV carries, what, 5, Connor?
3, 4, maybe.
3, 4, or 5, something along those range. Now, I'm going to show you all something. This is just a recently addition to the server, whereas if you get into the gunner or driver positions of any of the Strykers, your backpack will go into the ACE vehicle cargo, and the only way you'll be able to access it is using your right windows or whatever your environment interaction key is. This is a huge pain because sometimes the server is lagging and won't let you unload your backpack. And when it doesn't unload, it unloads somewhere on the ground around the Stryker. You have to walk around, find it, pick it up. An easy fix to this I found is just to get into the gearbox of the Stryker using your mouse wheel, the old vanilla way of doing it, and put your backpack in that way. It still saves all the items in your backpack, and when you pull it out, it goes directly to your back. Now, it's going to involve some problems if you're using a backpack like the same guy around you. So when you're gearing up, try to get a backpack different than everybody others that still fits into your role in your unit. So for instance, Scott and I both have 119s. He would grab an ACU, I'd grab a green one. That way we know who's whose. Now, I'm gonna go over some things. Mulligan, get in the gunner position of the Mark 19 ICV, not this one. I'm going to have you guys get into these guns in a second, but I just want to go over some things. You might want to write them down. First off, when you're turned in and you're operating the gun, hang on a second, let me just check something. When you initially get into the Stryker gunner position, you will be in a first-person view inside the Stryker, not even looking through the crosshairs. How you look through the crosshairs, what I find the easiest way to do is just use 0 on your numpad, and then you'll switch over to the crow's view. Crow's view, you zoom in and zoom out using the plus and minus on your numpad. And to activate the thermal, you cannot be activated using N, like in vanilla. You need to zoom in to a degree until thermal activates. How it goes is it will start with regular magnification, then it will switch to thermal, and then from the thermal view, which is the same as the standard magnification, it will go to the increased thermal magnification. You'll see what I mean once you get into one of these. Countermeasures are smokes. Screens are fired in 180 degrees in front of the Stryker or wherever the gun is facing. Say, I'll show you right now. I'm going to have the gun face 6 o'clock on the Stryker. I'm going to fire the Arkies, smoke grenades, and go out that way. Also, a neat trick if you want to set your gun direct 12 o'clock really fast without having to move it, you can just turn out and then turn back in, and it always sets it to 12 o'clock. That's about it. You can't reload the M2 without expelling all the ammo in the magazine, right, Mulligan? Yeah, okay.
If you try to reload, you'll just shoot
some. So now we're gonna have you guys get into both of these.
Miles! Alright, I'm here.
Miles, get out.
Alright, hold on, I just got it working.
No! Get out now!
I just got
Okay, this is the Stryker RV or recon vehicle. It is a light armored reconnaissance vehicle, which is actually an LAV. But it's got an M50 caliber M2, the gunner seat, which can only be accessed by turning out. I'll show you. This is the same thing as anything on one of your Humvees in vanilla. It's not that hard to use. To look down the iron sights, I use 0 on the numpad. Okay? Just be aware that you're you're not safe in the Stryker when you're using this gun. You're exposing yourself to enemy fire, and it cannot see the direct 6 o'clock of the vehicle. It can only rotate this far. I believe it's 180 degrees or so. Sometimes there's this weird glitch when the gun is functioning. The laser designator to the left of me won't always move. And Logan, can you get out so I can go over the laser designator? The laser designator is a really nifty system. It's that little box to the direct right of me. It's got very high magnification, and the laser is compatible with the AH-64 Apache systems, and I believe fixed-wing aircraft systems as well. This is the Stryker ATGM anti-tank guided missile. The commander's with a 7.62mm M240. It can only be fired from being turned out. Zoom in with the 0, just like every other thing we've been doing. There's a certain procedure to be firing the tow launcher that you should follow. I'm gonna go over it, hang on. The gunner only has the tow missile, and he also has the ability to fire smoke countermeasures. Usually that job falls to the commander, but in this case it does not. There's a certain procedure. If you see an enemy armor piece, you say what type of armor it is, the bearing. If you are not the vehicle commander, you have to get clearance to fire on that vehicle unless it is a direct threat to your vehicle or friendly personnel around your area. Okay, just pointing its a turret at you, then yes, you fire. All right. But if it's not, and you see it's a target of opportunity and something that will benefit the objective of the mission, you say permission to fire, yada yada yada. When you get the correct permission, you say, when you're about to fire, you say Fox 1, and then you fire. Alright? Fox 1, fire. Not that hard. And when you find the second missile, you go Fox 2. Sort of an anti-air airplane sort of way to fire a missile, but I just kind of borrowed it for this. That way the driver knows that he shouldn't be moving that much, shouldn't be moving very fast, because it'll make it harder for you to shoot the tow missile. Tow missiles take a very long time to reload, and once you shot your second missile, it'll take a whole 45 seconds before the next two will be loaded in. Just keep this into mind. Alright, don't have enough missiles for everyone to fire one, so we're not going to be testing this out. It's a pretty relatively easy system to use. Okay, just remember that SOP about the Fox 1, Fox 2, get the permission to engage unless it's a direct threat to the vehicle. I'm going to show you guys what a tow sounds like though.
Hold on, put in your earplugs. If you don't put in your earplugs, your speaker will hit you for a month.
Buddy disconnected from your channel.
Oh, in case y'all don't know, I think it's laser guided. It's not a lock-on thing. Or excuse me, fuck me, it's not guided.
Alright, any questions on that? Anyone? Okay, these are both the same. These are the Stryker MGS mobile gun system. First off, I would like to say it is not a tank, okay? No matter how much it looks like one. This is still a light armored vehicle. These are, usually they'll be deployed by the actual brigade, so Colonel would actually have command of these. They're fire systems. Now, I'm kind of hesitant to let you guys fire this because it has way too much recoil and it makes people deaf. And it wouldn't be that big a deal for staying like 50 meters away in real life, but in this game, it'll kill you for whatever reason. So,
We're not like
the lay system that we talked about earlier on the IVs, they still apply here, which is very effective for shooting big guns. Also, the gunner has access to a 7.62 millimeter coaxial machine gun, which is also benefits from the laser system. Commander has access to a little viewfinder on the top, which really isn't that much good. It can't laze and it can't zoom in, and yeah, it's not really good for anything. So that role on this vehicle isn't really used that much. Now, hang on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get into this and show you guys some stuff. The turnout seats are on both sides of the gun. The commander has access to the smoke grenades, but it'll only fire wherever the gunner is pointing. So if you notice, the grenade countermeasure canisters are mounted on the side of the turrets, the left and right side. Now, I'm going over to the gun. Okay, one more thing. When you're scrolling with the mouse wheel, as a commander, you have option for fire control.
Buddy left your channel.
You have control over the gun. You cannot move it as the commander. I found this out the hard way when I was doing fire control as a commander, and I shot a whole big hole into Colonel's office right over there. Alright, so be careful when you're using fire control. Different types of rounds, you got AP and you got heat. You got 9 of each, I believe. Hang on. Yeah, you got 9 of each. Also access
User
to
joined your channel.
7.62 millimeter machine gun. Not fire the gun when you're turned out, obviously. That's really it. Alright, I'm gonna fire the gun once, so you guys get a feel for it. I'd stand back.
Yeah, Skittles is in the service room. He's gonna help you out because I'm in the middle of training with Roman at the moment.
User left your channel.
Sig, you might want to step back.
Alright, if you all come around the back of the MGS, I want to show you something. If you notice these maps right here, this is where the shell supposedly, theoretically comes out. So always stay clear of those flaps. They actually open in a little animation. So if you're seen directly there, you're about to die. Please keep in mind. Over here. This is the STREM EV medical evacuation vehicle. There really isn't that much to be said. It only has a driver, not a commander or a gunner. It is unarmored. It can only carry about 5 or 4 people, we believe. Currently, everybody on the server can give medical attention to themselves besides med kits. But it's important to note when we don't have that feature enabled for testing, when you're around an MEV, the field hospital, or a Humvee ambulance variant, you'll be able to give morphine and epinephrine to yourself and people around you. Keep that in mind. Over here we have the Stryker MC mortar carrier. We're still doing research testing on this, so this isn't something you'll be seeing out in the field right now. The commander has access to a Mark 19, which is CROWS enabled, and the gunner has access to an M120 120 Mike mortar launcher, which is fired with the vanilla artillery computer. We're not going to go over how to use this because this is only being worked on.
So come on, baby!